Hey guys, how's it going? I am the Conflict Nerd, hello and welcome back to Hawken. So today I am joined by the wonderful SherlockShuffle.
Hello.
And we are going to talk about something that we think is a problem in Hawken. That being this idea of play to win.
Key difference, it's not pay to win, it's play, as in you have to play the game to win, but obviously we'll explain how that actually is going to work, hopefully, in this, so yeah.
So initially, most people are going to be like, wait, what? Don't you play most games to win? And yes, you do. But Hawken, yes, it's a beta, but the balance is a bit off in places. And we've sat for the last hour trying to work it out and see where the problem actually lies and see, is it the skill trees? Is it the weapons? Is it certain classes? And we're having trouble.
Yeah.
Because we can't work it out.
No.
But it is so evident that it feels like it should be slapping us in the face and obviously be something or other, but it isn't.
It's kind of hard to explain because, now, for those of you who don't know, if you want to come over to my channel, you'll find a lot of free-to-play games and a lot of FPS as well. I enjoy my FPS, and obviously Hawken is a first-person shooter, although you're in a mech, not just a soldier. Was that you shooting me in the face as well?
That was not. I was,
Okay.
I was squatting.
Oh, you're there, though. Turret activated. Oh no, I've got people around me. Oh dear. So, yeah, obviously I play a lot of FPS, and I'm not too bad at them. I'm by no means amazing, as you might imagine, but I'm not as bad as some people. He says getting wrecked by some guy in his face, but whatever.
I wrecked you.
So
I helped.
You assisted in the wrecking.
Hmm.
Yeah. So now I am a level 17 bruiser, which is a mech with a minigun and some rockets, because miniguns and rockets are the finest of combinations in amongst themselves.
Hmm.
And I have been destroyed in my time of playing by level 25s of all different classes of mech, be it the lightest infiltrators, the technicians, which are really light classes, as well as the super heavies, the same classes that I am. But every single time, someone that's a higher level than me has destroyed me. Now, the reason I mentioned about my FPS experience, career, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is because if
Legacy.
it was skill-based, then surely it'd be an even playing field. But evidently it's not.
No, very.
Now, I have since looked at all the stats, all the skill trees. I've spent about half hour or so analysing them, seeing what I can find. And I think, as it actually works out, you need to be level 16 to have the highest level damage buffs just by having to play the game and optimise your mechs. Obviously, all the mechs have skill trees called optimisation points and so on and so forth. And that obviously can increase your damage or decrease it, respectively. So,
Yeah.
I also don't really know where I'm going because I'm also trying to concentrate on playing the game at the same time.
And by that you mean you're trying to concentrate on not getting your arse handed to me by me.
Handed to me by me.
Handed to you by me. Fuck. I haven't had enough coffee today, alright?
I've had half a cup of tea because it's now gone cold, and this makes me very sad.
Yes. For all of our American viewers, people in the UK actually function off of these substances, but
Yeah.
that is a topic for another day.
Yes.
So yes, basically there is an issue in Hawken where it seems that higher level players are superior because they're higher level players.
Rather than being just better at the game, like more
Yes.
skill-based, whatever else.
Now
That's evidently not the case.
This is the case at first glance. The problem, the bigger problem, comes into play when you actually analyze the optimizations and skill trees. Because when you do that, you realize that it doesn't make sense
I have no help left.
at all. It makes no sense. Because if you max out your damage skill tree, there's no way in hell the tiny buff that you get from the end of that skill tree is enough to make you that much more powerful.
Yeah, I mean, to give people numbers, because obviously people like numbers and then they can't really complain. Factually, if you max out your skill tree just as an outright damage increase, it is a 3.41% damage increase. That is just a flat out, you do more damage. Yeah? Now, there are a couple more abstract stuff like increase weapon speeds or decrease spreads, for example, so obviously your weapons are more accurate and stuff like that. But obviously we didn't take that into account because that's far too complicated to actually try and work out with all the different, weapons and whatnot in the game. So, flat out 3.41% damage increase, irrespective of what weapons you have. Flat out increase.
Yeah.
That's the maximum potential, from what I can tell anyway. So.
Yeah, and that is enough to kind of maybe just notice a slight increase. Now that's the equivalent of if we were equally equipped and went head-to-head firing at exactly the same time, exactly the same rate, you would kill me if you had that buff. But you would just kill me.
I'd only just survive, yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, that doesn't seem to make sense. Because that's not the way the game actually works. So, my kind of theory at the minute is that the stats are incorrect. And that the buffs are inaccurate, and that those numbers are perhaps a bit fluffed. Because those numbers are either, some of them are wrong, or all of them are wrong. And I know that might sound a bit weird, but there's no way in hell it's just a minor 3 point whatever percent increase. There's no way it is just that.
Yeah, I mean, another game that you can actually compare this to would be Blacklight Retribution, which has a metric shit ton of stats. That is a technical and empirical term. Deal with it. In which some people said, this isn't pay to win because X, Y, Z. But there are so many variables and so many numbers. It is, in my opinion, nearly impossible to say, okay, you cannot get a definitive answer because of the variables in it. And I think that is something to consider with Hawken at the minute, as well as, like, for example, I have a potential of an 18% damage reduction with my ability for 10 seconds. Right, that's obviously a maximum potential and whatnot. But because of the variables in, like, the weapon spread, for example, how many of my rockets will actually hit a target if I aim at them and stuff like that, there's so many variables in Hawken, and it's really hard to sort of describe what the issue is, which is why we haven't come up with a definitive answer. There's no, this is the cause, or this isn't the cause, whatever. It's really hard to tell because there are so many goddamn variables.
Yeah. And some people will be sitting there going, oh, it's just because you guys are noobs and you suck at the game, blah, blah, blah. The typical stuff of the fanboy who can't accept that his game is getting criticized. But at the same time, it is there. And if someone tries to say, oh, there's clearly no problem, then you're just ignoring it and not wanting to accept that there is. And you're therefore being a bad beta player. What's the actual...
That was a moped, apparently. There we go. The guy's dead.
Fucking hairdryer on wheels. But, this is just a case of someone pretending there is no problem when there really is. Because like I said, the numbers are either a bit fluffed, there's a stat just a little bit off in the code or something, but
something seems to be amiss.
You see, the problem isn't even directly us. We've played enough of this to kind of get to a point where we're pretty good at the game and can sort of push through it.
I mean, I've played, I think about 11, 12 hours so far, which isn't a lot in comparison to my other games, but it's reasonable enough for me to say, okay, this is how this works.
Yeah. I've played closer to maybe 7 or 8 at the moment. But, we've played enough to sort of be able to push through the issues at the moment. But the thing is with new players, and yes, I know the game has a system in place that stops brand new players from being thrown in with the more experienced players.
Which doesn't work at the minute, to some extent anyway.
Fair enough.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But the thing is, you're let out of the whole new player thing after what, like 5 levels, and that's no time at all. And
yeah, I mean, the actual server system itself works on a rating system, which basically means that the more you win, the higher your rating, which is really, really bad if you yourself are a terrible, terrible player and everyone on your team is really good. Your rating gets increased while your skill level does not.
Yes.
Which is kind of an odd thing. I'm still trying to work out how the rating system works. The wiki doesn't give me all that much information, so alas, I couldn't tell you. But yeah, it is there. There is a system in place, and we won. Yay!
But the thing is, with a new player coming into this, you are really not going to have a hell of a lot of fun for your first 25 levels. And if you're not having fun for those 25 levels, you're probably not going to stick around. And that sucks because Hawken is a good game. It really is. It's just that there are these problems currently. And I honestly can't put my finger on it and say, this is what's causing it. This is where the problem is. Because I haven't a fucking clue where it is. Neither of us do. You know, we've looked at the stats, we've looked at the numbers, we've looked
played
at
numerous different mechs. I mean, I obviously every fortnight the devs at the I can't remember is it Adhesive that develops this game? Might be something like that. Rotate the mechs you can play for free. Just sort of try them out, see if you actually want them. And this fortnight is the Technician, the Rocketeer, and the Sharpshooter. And the Sharpshooter is considered to be one of the more overpowered classes at the minute, which I would actually tend to agree with, considering how some of his stuff actually works, which is kind of annoying. Now, as I was explaining to Conflict prior to us actually recording this, I tested out the Sharpshooter and actually played Sharpshooter and said, okay, this rifle seems to do about 200 to 300 damage per hit. According to the wiki, it does 155. So, is the wiki wrong? Did it get buffed and no one's changed it? And I think we're on a team together. Awesome.
Yes, we are. Good.
We're bros. Yay. Okay, let's go. Be excited.
Yes. How's it going, bro?
How's it going, bro? Let me go this way.
Alright, you go that way. I will arse about down here and try and sound smart.
Okay.
It's what I do. It's kind of the thing of my channel.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. But, yes, the Sharpshooter, for example, is one of the biggest pains in the arse, and it's one of the classes that I think really needs adjusted, because it's something I suggested. We tried recording this yesterday, and DX Tory had a derp, and we're doing it again. Something I suggested yesterday was that the Sharpshooter should not necessarily be a normal mech, really.
Yeah, just to sort of explain that a little bit, there's 3 classes of mech, so like the 3 sort of archetypes, if you will, which are light, medium, and heavy, as you might imagine. Light classes are type A, they have about 500 to 550 health. Class B, medium mechs, have between 700 to 750 health, and Class C have around about 900 health. So that's something to just sort of quickly explain that.
Yeah. And then, what I mean by a normal mech is, currently the Sharpshooter is Class B, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, correct.
Which, in a sense, is a bit shit, but, you know. But what I mean by shouldn't be a normal mech is, the Sharpshooter is currently able to dart around pretty quickly, and deal out shit tons of damage, sit at range, so you can't hit them, really. And that's a problem for any other class that isn't a Sharpshooter, because you can't get close to them, really, on the bigger maps. It
is really hard.
Yeah. What I thought would be an interesting idea is maybe if the Sharpshooter had to lock down and then fire, similar to the way if I'm not mistaken, the Bruiser can turn into a...
Yeah, all Class C mechs have like a tank mode.
Yes.
But I think rather than being like that, sort of have it like a mode almost, because obviously all mechs have a activatable ability. Mine is a damage decrease, for example. Yours is a cooldown ability and whatnot. Have it so the Sharpshooter has a, say an accuracy increase of a flat out 5 to 10%, whatever else, when they're locked down like this. Obviously they can't move at all, and it takes them 2-3 seconds to get out of that mode, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
That would be a good idea, I think.
So do I, because
it also ruins the archetypes of the mechs to an extent, because obviously the Type C are the ones that have the lockdown abilities, and all the other ones just have like random activatable ones, and so on and so forth. So
yeah, it obviously, like you said, it ruins the archetypes, but I think it makes sense purely because it would bring a bit more of an even playing field to everyone.
Also, it'd actually make the mechs feel a lot more different, because at the minute, obviously, you start off with a mech with the CRT Recruit, for example, and obviously I now have the Bruiser, because I wanted the Bruiser, because I could. And the feel of the mechs isn't all that much different, because obviously we both move the same. We both, well, obviously we don't look the same, because I have a slightly different hat, and essentially.
Well,
but,
hats are important.
There's not much of a difference in how they play, which is slightly disappointing. I'd like to have a more varied feel in between the archetypes, so obviously have, you know, that lockdown, you know, type C, type B and what have you, so...
Yeah. I do think it's necessary for something like the Sharpshooter, because like I said, you know, it'll bring an even playing field. It basically means that if you are like me with your assault, or whatever the balls it is, and your missiles, you have an opportunity to get near the sharpshooter before he buggers off and hides somewhere else where you can't hit him. It just evens the playing field. It slows them down a little bit and makes them less of a nuisance, because that's all they are at this point. You know, and I understand it's not the easiest thing to use. You still need to be accurate, but at the same time, it deals out so much damage that if you're in a fight with one and he's darting about the place and he's very nimble, the chances are he's going to kick your ass, because he just deals out more damage than you can. It's just a flat-out increase of damage, and by definition of sharpshooter, that sort of goes down the line of sniper. And now, Call of Duty players are going to disagree with me here, but snipers aren't meant to be on the front line in combat, so therefore do not need heavy equipment, so therefore are light, so that would make it a Class A. Basically, I just think the sharpshooter should be a Class A mech, but that sort of strays towards maybe another discussion. I still think the play to win thing, just there needs to be a bit more balance in the game right now. It's not a hell of a lot. It's not like the entire game is just...
the game as a whole is fine. It's just a few things need editing.
Yeah. Like the idea that a level 25 player is just flat out better because he's played longer. Not because he's picked up skill, it's just the playtime, and that's something I want people to get into their head. We are not complaining about, oh, this guy's just better than me. He's only killing us because his equipment is better, or he has just got more stuff to kill us with. Look at the EMP, for example.
Obviously, as you earn Hawken credits throughout the game, and even you can also buy them in premium currency as well as, there's actually some mechs don't start off with, for example, an offensive item. You don't have a turret, for example, whereas I do. You have a shield, whereas I don't, and so on and so forth. And obviously, there's a few, like, passive stuff I didn't have as well. I didn't have heat sinks, which reduced my weapon heating, as you might imagine. I didn't have that originally, which obviously some mechs do have. I think your mech conflict has something very similar to that.
Yeah.
So when you buy a mech, I don't know, it's just really hard to try and articulate what I mean, because one, I'm tired and I haven't slept very well, and also because I'm trying to kill this guy and dying horribly in the...
Yeah, I've just ran into a bruiser. That ended well. Rocketeer. Okay. But yeah, the game is pretty much sound. There's just...
The game is fun. I like it.
Yeah, it's fun. You can push through the problems, and you will eventually not notice them. If you stick through it and reach the level 25, you're gonna be the problem. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing at this point, but my worry is more for the new guys coming into it, because I know I wouldn't find it fun if I put up a new game and everyone's kicking my ass just because they've played it longer.
Yeah, I mean, it's an issue with the rating system, because I think what I've actually previously just managed to sort of notice is that there's been a guy that's been doing really, really sort of well, and then he'll then purposely not do anything the next game to decrease his rating so he loses the match.
Yeah.
And obviously that's manipulative.
It is, but
wow, my turret is inaccurate.
I think the rating system could use a bit of a tweak in that sense.
Yeah.
I think basically what you could do is have a ranked playlist and an unranked playlist.
Yep.
And more filters to the server browser would probably solve that problem. But that's just one problem needing solved. There are still a few more. You know, that's solving the rating. That's not solving the balance. That's just kind of... it's pushing the balance issues to the side, which isn't gonna cut it. At the end of the day, if this game is going to last, which I want it to, everything needs to be fixed. But when you consider that the last update for the game was kind of a while ago...
Yeah, it was.
That's worrying.
Worrying.
To say the least.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I can't speak for the devs being active or not, because, again, I've not really played an awful lot and not played for an extended period of time in terms of weeks and months.
Yeah.
Whereas I have for stuff like Warframe and pretty much every other game. So there's not been any major updates for everything else. People in chat have been asking about it. I was like, well, unfortunately, no one's ever sort of mentioned anything. And I'm gonna die again. Yeah, go up. 4v1 is not good.
No, no, it is not.
Yes, don't go over there. So I'm obviously I don't know the scale of the updates because again I haven't played in the extended period of time to say okay the updates are actually massive. It's fair play to take this long and everything else. I haven't even seen any hotfixes dropped in the past month, which is worrying.
Yeah.
Hotfixes are normally quite useful because they are hot fixes. Yeah, fixes for the hot things.
Yeah, it's when you see a game with very inactive devs, you can't help but wonder, are they still interested in doing this, or?
I mean, it's only an open beta. You know, I mean, I was in the
well, that's
closed
the
beta
bigger
for
concern.
and that was a while ago. But if something is still labeled as beta, then you shouldn't really be thinking about abandoning it.
Yeah, if something...
No, obviously, because again, not really played the longevity of the game. But...
Yeah, but if that's the thing, if something's labeled as beta, you should, you would expect updates to be coming out pretty damn regularly.
I point you to Warframe.
Yeah, I mean, you might not be hearing, the devs might not be tweeting and posting, but you're still getting updates, and I'm not seeing that with Hawken. And that's worrying because this game has a lot of potential. A hell of a lot of potential, but I don't know. There's work needing done. It doesn't seem to be getting done, and I don't know. I want the game to do well. I don't know what to say in that regard because we could be putting our foot in our mouth by saying that devs aren't doing anything, and then by the time this video goes up, there might have been an update.
Yep.
So, whenever the last update was, what was it, May, I think?
Yes.
There was an update in May. That's the one we're talking about. Just in case this video goes up and they put out another patch or something. Just in case. It's unlikely, but I really don't want to be in that situation.
I was just killed by a level 1 sharpshooter. Just saying.
How do you feel?
I feel awful.
I just got killed by a level 9 technician. I feel
awful.
Pretty bad. Anyway, folks, we can't really come up with a definitive answer on this whole thing because there's
it's so many layers of stuff to go through.
Yeah.
And I have work all weekend, which is why I can't play it all weekend and then tell you by Monday. But,
yeah. Yeah, there's no real definitive answer right now. There's no this is the problem, this is how to fix it. And that is not really great. We've sat down and analysed it, we've looked at the numbers, we've looked at this and that, but there's just nothing that will be... There's no way of pointing the finger and saying, this is it. And that kind of freaks me the hell out. But maybe it'll be fixed, maybe it won't, maybe Hawken will work, maybe it won't. We
don't even know.
We'll have to wait and see how the game goes over the next couple of months and if it actually gets sorted.
I'm going to point out that we have actually been winning this match with only half a team for most of it.
Yeah.
We had 3 players versus like 5 or 6. And we were
I will say, I haven't been winning it. I've been getting my arse kicked most of the time by people who are...
I'm on more deaths than you are. I've got 70 or 6.
Yeah, I guess. We sort of...
I've also got more kills than you.
Yeah, we sort of scale, really. Yeah, it's fun. I'll stand by that. I said it in my first talking video, I'll say it in this one. It is fun. Don't take this as a avoid at all costs, because...
No, it's good fun. I like it.
Yeah, you can push through the issues, and eventually you might not notice them, but doesn't mean they shouldn't be fixed. And I kind of hope that's not the attitude that the devs are taking. It's a matter of, they'll get over it. We don't have to fix it. Either way, folks, I think we've sort of said our bit.
Yep. I tend to agree with that.
We will leave it there. Hope you've enjoyed this little chat about Hawken. I've been the Conflict Nerd, joined by SherlockShuffle. Check him out on youtube.com/SherlockShuffle.
For the best content in the world. Screw this guy.
Yes. Yes.
I'm getting my ass handed to me by Nacho again. Son of a bitch. Go away, Nacho. Leave me alone.
He does Warframe, he does some Hawken, starting Planet Side 2 soon, I believe.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Also, Payday 2 is going to be coming and Saints Row, but they're secret, so shush.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm doing some Payday 2 content, and I was also going to consider doing Saints Row, so we're going to be rivals for a little while.
That's okay, I'll win.
This will be the last video we do together. For the next couple of months, we're going to be angrily tweeting at each other.
Pretty much.
That's what Twitter's for, right?
It is. It's what it's for.
Yep. Anyway,
Looking
folks.
at you, Phil Fish.
Oh, God. Look at yourself, Sherlock. Look at me. Look at your life and then look at mine. Yep.
Wow, that was a clusterfuck of death there. This is one hell of a gauntlet.
Yep. Anyway, folks, we've rambled on. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.